There are cultures other than ours that think of blessings and curses as real, to the degree that people will pay money so that a blessing or a curse could be spoken. Maybe that seems odd to our culture. At best, we consider a blessing to be someone's wish for good for someone else. Would we pay for that? Also, at most, we consider a curse to be someone's wish for bad to happen to someone else. We give those away for free. So maybe it's odd to think of paying someone to bless someone else. And it's even odder to think of paying someone else to curse. It seems so primitive to us to pay real money for the imaginary. Ha! Real money. Because there's no such thing. Money isn't real, y'all. At best, it's paper that we have assigned value, perhaps initially under the assumption that there is gold somewhere that backs up that value. But the value of that gold, that's imaginary too. And we're moving to cashless, eh? So money is nothing more than digitally stored math. What could be more imaginary than that? Math is imaginary. It's not real. It's at most a way of measuring reality, like with geometry and physics. But all math is theoretical. It all happens in our heads, even when it happens on the blackboard or on paper. And we pay money to people who do math for us. We pay imaginary value to people who imagine value for us. Seems pretty primitive. Anyway, it's no more advanced than paying for blessings and curses. The king of Moab was really afraid of the real threat, which was the mass of people moving towards Canaan under the direction of the only God that is real, the only God who really blesses and really curses, the only God who is the only good and the only one standing against real evil. He was with Israel, leading them from the curse of slavery to the blessings of the Holy Land. And Moab was in the way. So the king of Moab did the math and got an idea. Pay somebody real money to curse Israel in the name of the real God. He sent word to Balaam, son of Beor. Balaam invites the messengers in, but while they sleep, the real God comes to Balaam. Who are these men? He pretends to ask. Balaam answers honestly. God says, nope. Balaam sends the messengers home. So far, so good. The king of Moab sends the messengers back. Balaam says, you can't pay me enough to disobey God, but hang out again and let's see what God says. God says, fine, go with them, but only do what I say. Sweet, thinks Balaam. Maybe I'll get paid after all. As he's going along on his donkey, the donkey keeps stopping and refusing to move forward. Even when Balaam beats the animal, she won't budge. Instead, the donkey talks. Really talks, not imaginary. They have a conversation. And God opens Balaam's eyes to see the truth that he couldn't imagine, but that the donkey had been seeing, and because of which she wouldn't move. The angel of the Lord stood in the road, ready to curse Balaam, as in, kill him. Really. God showed Balaam how real he is so that he could see how useless it would be to try to bless or curse apart from God's approval. How imaginary money wasn't going to mean anything in this situation. Blessings and curses are real, but the real ones only come from the real God. Balaam then blessed Israel 7 times, right in front of the king of Moab. And we find out later that Balaam tried to earn his money from the king by advising him to lure the Israelite men into both adultery and idolatry with the Moabite women. That worked and made God angry with Israel, which didn't help Moab at all, but it was worth a try. Peter has the final word about Balaam in his second letter. He says, Balaam loved the wages of wickedness, but he was rebuked for his wrongdoing by a donkey, an animal without speech, who spoke with a human voice and restrained the prophet's madness. Words are real. Blessings and curses, as real as money, and math in our imaginations, they have a very real effect on us and on the way we interact with reality. Words and math and money are all communication by which we measure reality. And God condescending to talk to us is as unreal as it gets, especially if he says anything but the curse that is the true wages of our wickedness and wrongdoing and the madness that we imagine to be a worthwhile way to live and interact with reality. Anything but the curse that sin deserves, that's insane. As insane as a talking donkey and money and paying people to curse. Balaam had no choice, sane or otherwise, but to bless those whom God blessed. 7 times in the face of real and imaginary pressure to do otherwise. Because God had decided to bless them. There was no stopping him. Nothing could be said. Nothing could be done. No sin could be sinned that could stop God from blessing, from working everything that has ever been done for the good. From forgiving sin through the Savior he sent through sinful people. From condescending to talk to us and to tell us this word. Jesus. Nothing real, nothing we can imagine, nothing can stop God from blessing. Nothing stops Jesus. You and I are dust and breath, loved by God, bought by Jesus. This podcast is written and produced by me, Ethan Cherney, a pastor at Bethel Lutheran Church in Menasha, Wisconsin, member of the Wisconsin Evangelical Lutheran Synod. Outro music arranged and performed by Mr. Peter Shawy, who is like cattle that go down to the plain. Keep in touch. Reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook at Dust and Breath Pod, or send an email to dustandbreathpod@gmail.com. Or you could write us a review, recommend a episode to somebody else. That's the only way other people find out about the show. Now go, do what God called you to do, be who God made you to be, see what God can do with dust and breath and faith in Jesus, his Son.